From what a time to golden age, the best era of hip-hop back. Go catch my tape, we brought it back again for the culture, just hit play. And you will see the guy Rod New reincarnated. I brought the 90s back, no strings attached. Gotta be the go to rap. I'm hearing Nas comparisons. Born in the mill, I hear I sound like Kendrick. I said I'm a legend cause I gave that feeling. My flow ahead, killer.
Yes, we talking about mixtape show business, but this one's a little bit different, man. We are discussing the golden age. If you're watching this right now, that means the project is out. You know what I'm saying? Produced by myself, written by my man Rod King. No features, you know what I mean? My man just going in 11 joints in, right? 11, right? Yeah, 11 joints. And
sir.
Rod, man, we did it, brother. We kicked it off with the Healing Tape last year. And then we collaborated with my brother Lindorf, the Requiem. And then, you know, in between all of that, we was working on this project, the Golden Age. So first and foremost, man, whoa, how you feeling, man? How you feeling? The Golden Age is here. It's released. The people can take it in and listen to it and catch the vibe, man. How you feeling about the Golden Age overall, brother?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. I just wanted to give, you know, the people a great body of work that was memorable and that was full of, like, you know, good hip hop. You know, it's kind of hard to find it. Like, you got to go to the underground and get it. So, you know, I definitely wanted to make, you know, that underground hip hop feel, but I also wanted to give them, you know, like that mainstream appeal too, to where the hip hop is able to appeal to everybody, but still not be watered down. So, you know, I call it, it's like we went into the time machine.
Yeah.
Back into my favorite era of hip hop, which was the 90s. So it was dope to be able to give, you know, people my favorite era of hip hop through my perspective.
Yeah, man. And we you know, when we initially talked about putting this together, that's what we wanted to make a theme, right? We always said that, you know, the Healing Tape was kind of like an introduction piece to me and you working together, right? So we were kind of getting to know each other. And then the Requiem was a theme-based piece with Lindor we collaborated with. So when we got to this Golden Age piece, we was like, man, we both love 90s hip hop, right? That's both our favorite era. A lot of artists that we love and appreciate made some really dope music out of that era. So it's like you said, let's hop in the time machine and say, hey, what if we were in that era? What would the album sound like, right? And we got this. What is it about the 90s hip hop that you love the most, man? What is it that you have that? Because I have a fascination with it. I love it. You know, I was around when it was popping in the 90s. I was in my teenage years. So for you, man, what was that 90s hip hop for you in that era?
Man, it's so much, man. I would say how raw it is, how organic it is. You know, the flow patterns, even to the fashion, man. The fashion, the graffiti, like it was really specialized. I feel like in that 90s time, to where it was very appealing too. It was eye appealing, and then sonically it just sound beautiful, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's who's your top 90s three that you know couldn't do wrong? Like, you knew I can listen to any project they put out in that era, and then I know it's a go.
Man. So Nas for sure, no question. Pac does no wrong. Black Jesus. You know, after Pac, man. After Pac, I'm gonna kind of do this a two artist one. I'm gonna say Jay-Z,
Mm-hmm.
just because you know, I was an early fan of his early work,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I love what Wu-Tang did as a unit. So
yeah.
those would be my three, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, with a part, with a slash,
Yeah.
slash Wu-Tang.
All right, so we won't limit it to you to three. We'll just say in general, right? Your influences and the people that you was rocking with. Yeah, man. I similar, man. Pac was my so 90s hip hop. I was heavy. Obviously, I was living in New York at the time, so I was heavy East Coast, right? So Wu-Tang and Nas and Mobb Deep were always my guys. But I used to always come down to Texas too, in Dallas, during those summer times, because I had an aunt who lived out here. So I met a lot of people who were some music fanatics too, and they put me on to Tupac. Like a brother of mine, I'm still cool with it to this day. My man Donald, you know, living out there in Houston now. he put me on the Tupac, he put me on the Scarface, he put me on to even like E40 and the West Coast guys, because they had that Southwest connection with the scene here in Dallas. So when I first heard Pac, man, I was like, yo, this is the dude that's like from Juice, you know what I'm saying? That's because that's all I knew him at the time, was the guy from Juice. And then I even remember seeing him in the Digital Underground videos before he went solo. And so when I heard that first album that he dropped, I was instantly caught, you know what I'm saying? It caught the bug for me, because I was like, man, this dude is, I know he's considered a West Coast artist, but he had that East Coast feel. And that's when I started doing the research on him, realizing he was, you know, born and raised in Baltimore. And then, you know, his family was part of the Black Panther movement and all that. So it made sense. So everything that dude said, man, like I said, Pac was never the best lyricist to me, but everything he said, it stuck. You know what I'm saying? He was very strategic with his words and his patterns and how he released a track. So I always appreciated Pac's music and his energy that he brought to the game. And you know, he's been he's always been like my number 1A, you know, beside next to Nas. Nas for me was always a guy I was deep into, because I feel like me and him had similar personalities with the kind of laid back feel to it. You know what I'm saying? We kind of read the room on a lot of things, and just, you know, soft spoken, but it was kind of like whenever that dude speaks, he always says something that meant something. So I always felt drawn to Nas that way with his music and just him as a person, because it seems like he comes off as just a really good dude, you know what I'm saying? So and then of course the Wu-Tangs, and then that tree that came out of that Wu-Tang with, like I said, ODB and Ray and RZA, and the run that they had, man, was just so dope in the 90s to see that raw sound and that unpolished sound that they put out was dope to hear at the time. Biggie for me was, I like Biggie a lot, you know what I'm saying? I think Ready to Die to me was his best album. I know Life After Death was a dope one too, but that was the commercialized album.
Me too, I must say.
Do I now?
No, I was saying he definitely came up for me too. So he was right there. I didn't bring him up.
Yeah.
Definitely one that was right there.
Yeah, I was more of a Ready to Die Biggie than Life After Death. Life After Death album was the commercialized version of him, I think. He was still spitting on there, but that Ready to Die was something crazy. Like when that project came out, man, the energy around that album was wild. So now we have our joint, the Golden Age, right? This is us being in our time machine, going back to the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that, man. The Golden Age. What's the message? What's the feel? What's the vibe that you wanted to get across with people listening to this one before they pop it in? And this is you telling them, kind of giving them a quick example and you know, explanation. How would you explain the Golden Age listening experience for the people?
Yeah, you know, like really going into you know, my life experiences first and foremost, and you know, formulating that into you know, the project, obviously. But on top of that, you know, with this being a very hip hop album, I really wanted to show my skill set as far as like on the rhyming ability. You know what I'm saying? I felt like you delivered the production greatly. So as an MC, it was on me to you know, do my part on the rhyming side. So, you know, for the most part, it's just me, you know, telling my story, hopping in that time machine, but also showing, you know, my skill level in different pockets and different flows I was able to, you know, rhyme on. I don't feel like, you know, nothing sounds the same on here, though it's the 90s. Like each track has its own feeling and own, you know, experience that you get to go through.
Yeah, and I know from a production side on my end, I know you told me, man, I just want to do a 90s feeling joint. I just wanted to feel like the 90s and all that. And, you know, my process for those behind the scene, you know, for those out there, when me and Rod get together, we always start with, well, what do we want this to sound like? You know what I mean? And then on my end, I'll do one or two kind of beats and send it to him and say, you know, is this what we feeling? You know, is we going in the right direction? And he'll say, yeah. And then I'll start building it on that. You know what I mean? And we literally just go until he says, okay, that's enough. Let's put the project together. You know what I mean? And with this project, we did something unique with it too, man. We don't really have song titles per se for this. We got years. We kind of named it after the different years. And I remember this conversation we had. I was actually, man, when did we record this? Probably around July, I think, when we started recording this joint. I think we threw the idea of how we want to do it, how we want to lay it out. And then I kind of was just like, let's just do it as the years, you know what I'm saying? Like 90, 91, 92, 93. And we can maybe use those song titles to embody maybe that year in hip hop history. And then as you capturing, you know, what that year felt like for you as an MC. How would you explain that when you thought of those titles and how you would do that?
Oh man, you know, like me being a student, man, I just went back to those times and you know, just gathered information of what was going on. You know, what artist was popping at that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was semi aware already of what was going on. Just me being a fan of hip hop, so it was very easy, and you know, gathered my thoughts and just put it into the music, man. And brought it to life. Yeah,
absolutely, man. And what we're gonna do too during this little session we got, man, we're gonna break down each and every track, and we'll break it up for the content and social media wise, as far as what each track felt like and what he was thinking when he heard that, and we'll just do it that way, man. So Golden Age is out, you know what I'm saying? It's out available on Rod's Bandcamp page. It's available on the DJKawanMusic.com. It's not available currently on the streams. We still want to go with that organic feel. And, you know, hit the brother up on Bandcamp Friday so he can get 100% of the proceeds when that happens. Or if you just want to get it now, you itching to get it, go ahead and get it now on there.
I did think about my YouTube feed.
In the YouTube, yeah. In your YouTube, he got his YouTube here. We'll talk about that a little bit too. Releasing this project, man, and your thoughts, because in this we banged head. We didn't bang heads, I don't want to say it like that, but we kicked around the idea how we wanted to release this, and not just like streaming, but as far as presentation, right? I remember one time saying, hey, we should release this as a mixtape because it sounded like a mixtape, right? And then it's like the more you kept recording and turning in records, I was like, well, I don't know, it's starting to feel like an album. When did it hit you? As far as how deep did you get into the recording process when you realized, like, yo, this may be more than just, you know, a regular raw release. This is like this is something. So when did it hit you when you was like kind of like, oh, this is something different?
Wow, man, I think maybe once we probably got to the halfway mark, I would see, and I was like, yo, this is really coming together, and you know, seeing it come together, you know, that's when the excitement come in. Of course, you want to just keep knocking them out. Mm-hmm. So, you know, seeing that, I was like, wow, man, like, you know, because I think in our mind, we were thinking, yo, mixtape for us. But after hearing it, and I went back to some of the legends, because it's like, you know, we're in a world where they compare everything. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely like to see like how my stuff sounds next to a great at that particular time, like a Nas or somebody that's great at what it is that they do. You know, doing the air test, the flow test, I was like, yo, I'm confident enough to put this next to, you know, one of those legendary projects, with all due respect, and you know, be confident in that work. So that's when I knew, man. Right there. Yeah.
It's definitely one for the real I hate saying the real hip hop, but the people that appreciate that time period, when they hear it, they understand, you know, say what this is. No features, and that's done on purpose, right? We didn't want to do no features on this one. And this is, you know, we talk about this too. You consider this one like your first, kind of like your debut, you know, full release, right? Is that right?
This is my debut album right here.
Yeah.
DJ Kawan. You know, me linking up with you, I feel like this was like my introduction as putting my, you know, bodies of work out, and this is our actually first album. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Did you feel nerves at all, or you just kind of like, I already know? Well, if you like me, you listen to it hundreds of times, so you kind of know what it sounds like. But you know, how are you feeling as far as now it's going to be judged by people other than me and you? As far as right now,
I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited to hear what, you know, people got to say, and you know, I guess the reason why I would say I got a confident approach about it is just the work I put into the craft, man. You know, that work is undeniable. It's like when you put that work in, hey,
yeah.
What can you say after that? So it's like that's what makes me confident in it. You know, like on the production side, man, you really delivered on your thing. So I feel like we got to give people the sound that we love. So what more can you do? It's art at that point. So I'm
Absolutely.
just looking to hear what the people got to say too, and I know they're gonna enjoy it also.
Absolutely. And we about to get into that. We about to break down each project, each song on the project here. So we'll this as far as this introduction piece, man, we appreciate everybody tapping in. You know what I'm saying? We can't wait for you to hear your feedback on this project. We think it's a really dope one. Me and Rod gonna do everything we can do to put it in front of as many people as we can outside of the streams, because we want to have that 90s feel with this and hustle it up and let the people discover it the way that they discover it. And it'll probably hit the streams at some point, but right now we want to do this the old school, hit the streets and hit the pavements and stuff like that, man. So we'll let's talk about each single individually, and we'll kind of go down the line just to keep it easy and all that stuff.